It is time for Attorney Investigations 2. Just like the Switch 2. You know, pretty much the same thing, but the next one. Anyway, we are on a Turnabout Forsaken. Let's go. April 6th. Detention. Oh, shit. Is this the same fucking cell from the last one? This is where homeboy in the neck brace died, isn't it? Well. Never thought I'd spend another night in here again. They stripped me of all the evidence we'd painstakingly gathered. Even if they did let me keep Kay's entire house, I can't help but worry about her. They'd better be treating her well. The murderer, it was me. I remember looking down and the person in the red raincoat was on the ground. It was me, Mr. Edgeworth. It was me all along. I'm the murderer. I'm the murderer. Well, maybe you shouldn't say shit like that. A visitor? Who? Someone by the name of Dick Gumshoe. Want me to send him away? No. Not sure what to even say to him. It's my boyfriend. Visitors room. Wait there. They're leaving me unsupervised? Forgive the intrusion. Forgive the intrusion. You're not Dick. You are Dick, but you're not Dick. Judge Gavale. Mr. Edgeworth, take a seat. Oh, you actually have her take a seat. Alright. What are you doing here? I was told it was Detective Gumshoe. I imagined you wouldn't come if you knew it was me. Wow. Lying ass. Don't like her. What could she possibly want from me? I suppose I'd better find out. You may not be aware of this, but you are only permitted to meet with specially approved visitors. Fun to be treated like a dangerous criminal, am I? I suppose my reputation has rather plummeted. Has indeed. For you, of course, and your friends. That attorney and the other girl were raising quite the fuss. And Emma's here. I forgot she was here. I love Emma. I saw them launch some extremely heated words at one of the guards. No, you didn't. They thank the goddess in that regard, for even she is too busy to deal with each and every infraction. They will not be punished for their bad behavior. Did you come here just to chit-chat with me? You must have a lot of time on your hands. Oh, speaking of which, Miss Von Karma is continuing the investigation where you left off. I just thought you would like to know. I figured you would be worried about how they were how they were doing. How they were all doing. Illiterate! I hate to admit, but she read me like a book. Ooh, let's cut to the chase, Your Honor. Honor. Why are you really here? I'm here simply to talk, nothing more. There is something I wish to know about you. This bitch pisses me off. Honest to God. Me? Yes. Who else? Objectively speaking, you are highly intelligent and quick-witted, and a born prosecutor at that. Please, Judge Gavale, your sarcastic praise is but salt on my wound. But I sincerely mean every word, Mr. Edgeworth, and it is why I fail to understand you. Take this latest case, for example. You were up against the very committee itself. You had no hope of succeeding. Even a child could have seen that, and yet I don't imagine the old me would have ever been so reckless. The old me had power, and because of that, I thought that justice was always on my side. Just as you and the committee believe now. But a certain person changed my mind. He made me reckon with myself and He made me reckon with my selfish and skewed sense of justice. And once the scales had fallen from my eyes, I began to look at people differently. I saw that I was only able to be an effective prosecutor thanks to the efforts of those around me. Detective Gumshoe, the many investigative officers on the force, even Kay. It changed me. The degree to which it changed me still surprises me to this day. I see. Thank you. I feel that perhaps I understand you a little better. You understand me? I highly doubt it. Someone who is so focused on forcing their idea of justice onto others can't possibly see what I see. Is that so? Is that what you truly believe? I will say one thing. This has been a very interesting conversation. This bitch! Ooh, I'm getting heated. We're 7 minutes in. Okay. Before I go, there is one remaining matter. I was asked to inform you that the date of your hearing has been confirmed. It will be held today in the trial chamber. The committee sends its warmest regards. If that was all you had to tell me, you could have just sent a message. And entrust the goddess's words to another? That wouldn't do now, would it? You're not the bloody messiah. Like, girl. People like this are scary because they genuinely believe that they are in direct contact. Just moving on. Until then, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll see you again very shortly. That's what I would have done on her way out. Flip her off. What is this? Getting so heated over her. Oh my god, I need to... Alright, I got this. I got this. Very basic bed. I can't say that it was very comfortable to sleep on, however. I imagine Detective Gumshoe would sleep soundly on it nevertheless, loudly snoring all the way. How do you know he snores, huh? They've totally spent the night. I suppose we'll never get to work together again. But I don't have any regrets about the bed I've made. I will follow my own path to the end. There's a note on the wall next to the toilet. Sorry, we're currently out of toilet paper. Please make the necessary mental preparations before the toilet. What sorts of mental preparations can one even make? Sir, for one, I would be using that sign to wipe my ass and maybe some of the pages from these books. You're not going to provide me with toilet paper? I'm using these books. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. There's a menu here on the table. It seems that detainees were able to pay to have their meals brought to their cells. What looks good? Spaghetti and mac and cheese lunch. Add linguine for $1. Basmati and brown rice special. What that is? What is basmati? Basmati? I know what biscotti is. Don't think it's the same thing. Oh, it's two different kinds of rice. So basmati and brown. Oh, so it's white rice. Oh, it's Indian rice. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. I'm with it now. For limited time only, add regular white rice at no extra cost. Oh, if I would have kept going. It's probably for the best that I'm not very hungry. I can wash my nethers down here. I've barely spent any time in here, and already I can feel my personal appearance slipping. I hate that feeling when you can just feel yourself starting to just look like it's been a day. Like it, I may have given up my badge, but I mustn't give up on myself. My collar, it's slightly creased. There. Tidy outside begets a tiny inside. Which is why it's more important now than ever to take care of myself. The window is barred with heavy steel. Oh, yeah. That reminds me of a movie I once saw. A prison inmate hatched a plot to escape by using a file to cut his cell bars. Watch movies? Boots the hell out of me. I won't be doing that, of course. For one thing, I don't have a file on me at the moment. What am I saying? I wouldn't even do it if I did have one. God, what else is there to do? The poster in the corridor outside. We regret to announce that due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who were looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Did anyone really need an apology for the cessation of such a ridiculous idea in the first place? Listen. That warden, she fucked up. Okay, listen. But quite honestly, the zoo thing and like this little die thing and like giving everybody a shit, like the circus show, she made prison tolerable. Like, I'm not saying that people in prison should be, but like, they also don't need to be worse off than zoo. Saying like, well, some of them. There's certain levels of crime, like the assassin should not have been comfortable, and anybody who rapes children. But you know, do I have another visitor? Okay. Thank goodness you seem alright. That's a load off my mind. Oh, such a heartwarming scene. It's enough to make a grown man cry. But you're not your usual cheery. I mean, you have to stay positive, Kay. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I guarantee you didn't. No, you have to let it go. I'm the murderer. I know that now. But you're not. You can't be. Why don't you have any faith in yourself? Because up until 2 days ago, she didn't even know her name. How can I, Mr. Edgeworth? When there is no me left to believe in. Not at all? I don't think that's true. Before you lost your memory, we spent quite a bit of time together. And I dare say you left quite the impression on me. But you see, there's still plenty of you left. That's why I believe so much in your innocence. Why you should believe in yourself, too. Thank you. I can't. It would just cause more pain for the both of us. Please. You have to forget her. Forget that Kay. She's gone. You've had amnesia for all of a day. It'll come creaking back, and then... I cannot believe they are fully trying her when she knowingly has amnesia. Like, they probably don't believe that she has it. Hey, no. You remind me of my younger self, you know? So noble, so bold. This is the justice you and the committee stand for? Justice? I suppose you could call it that. What is he up to? Why is he going to such lengths to control everything? I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong here. Is there some hidden agenda at play? Ugh, this is my turn to say myself. I'll find out what it is. It's now or never. Well then, my boy. I suppose I should be. Oh, I suppose I should be. Wait! Why is the chairman so intent on seeing Kay charged with this murder? It doesn't make any sense. There must be some rhyme or reason to this madness. I can't believe we're mind-chessing already. Come now, Miles. I'm a busy, important man. I can't be wasting my precious time talking to you. The only way out of your current predicament is through Chairman Winner. Oh, the only way out of our current predicament is through Chairman Winner. There's so much to ask in so little time. Let's start by trying to find out why he rushed to have Kay arrested so quickly. I just can't let this happen. I'm getting answers if it's the last thing I do. Mind chess, commence. Why were you so keen to push through Kay's arrest? I've yet to hear a satisfactory explanation. An explanation? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Don't give me that. You know exactly what I mean. I advise you to moderate your tone, dear boy. Need I remind you of your position? And suppose we did let your friend go free. What then? What do you mean, what then? Think of how that would look, my boy. And who would have to take the blame? Me. That's who. You're right to keep your mouth shut. That way you won't say anything foolish. But I can't stay silent forever. Not while Kay's innocence is in doubt. Ah, you're breaking my heart. Sob. Just look at this flood of tears. Spilling out. Please, just leave it alone, will you? Things were coming along nicely until you interfered. Coming along nicely? That's a pretty strange way of putting it. It's almost as if you wanted Kay's arrest to happen. It certainly doesn't sound like the statement of an impartial representative of the law. Oh, snap! Huh, you think so? Well, that wasn't my intention. Has it occurred to you that you might just be overthinking things a little? Chairman Winner certainly knows how to dodge a question. But it doesn't change the fact that serious doubts remain concerning Kay's arrest. Next, we'll need to press him on whatever he really believes the investigation is sufficient. We can't allow any of his statements to go unexamined, no matter how trivial they may seem. One of them may just give us the breakthrough we need. You can hardly say your investigation was sufficient. And you're the one who called all the shots, weren't you? Including the decision to have Kay arrested? Oh, I'm afraid I'm nowhere near as influential as you think, my dear boy. You're the chairman of the committee. It doesn't get much more influential than that. Not that I care about such things. You wound me. It's enough to drive an old man to tears. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not the deferential type. Well, if you're going to insist on being so blunt, then I'm afraid you won't be seeing your prosecutor's badge anytime soon. Let me make something clear once and for all. That badge isn't be-all, end-all for me. Far from it. I'm not concerned with titles or roles. Even you must understand that much. Oh, he's got the fire. So young. So very young. A word of advice, Miles, from someone who's been around the block. You're hopelessly naive, my boy. Idiotically so. Well, that's certainly got under his skin. He might be less guarded in his answers while he's in this state. Now's my chance. How much time was spent on your investigation altogether? My, you really don't give up, do you? Even my patience has its limits, you know. What a coincidence. So does mine. Now answer the question. Do you believe that your investigation was sufficient or not? Ah, the youth these days are wont to be reckless. Makes me want to put you in your place. You're going to regret that, my boy. Try. I know that middle act is correct. Well, maybe you do know your place after all. What's the matter? Scared? Hardly. I was just thinking about how best to proceed. Getting answers from the elderly requires sensitivity. They can get quite emotional after all. You have no common sense whatsoever, do you? Don't you understand? Your fate rests in my hands. He just carries around these little flip books just to burn them. Let's say you do manage to get some answers from me. There's nothing you can do with them. So why not give it up, dear boy? No. And why not? It's simple. Because I'm not about to let the truth escape me. Interesting. I think I'm beginning to see what makes you tick. But what you're doing is pointless. Tragically. Miserably pointless. Please, just give up. She's guilty. The decision has been made. Once again, your choice of words intrigues me. It's almost as if Kay's guilt had already been determined from before her arrest. What are you trying to imply? Oh, shit. I'm implying that things haven't gone as they normally should. In fact, everything has proceeded as if Kay's arrest was the end goal right from the very start. Well, Chairman Winter, was it? Oh, shit. That's certainly an intriguing theory. But it's also a complete work of fiction, and I'm afraid I don't have time for such flights of fancy. I think it's time we brought this shabby little farce to an end, don't you? No, he's trying to make his escape. We must confirm the legality of Kay's arrest before he slips away. Music speed up. It's faint, but the truth is finally beginning to emerge. And I'm not about to let this opportunity pass me by. Wait, we're not done yet. I'm tired of all this talking, so make it brief, will you? Based on everything I've heard from you so far, it's clear that Kay's arrest is entirely unfounded. Yes, I think we're all familiar with this particular refrain of yours by now. But I'm afraid it doesn't matter either way. You don't have what it takes to secure her release anyhow. How dare you take this so lightly as a man of the law? My, aren't you a rude little boy? But my fuse is only so long. Honestly speaking, I don't have the time to waste on every last question you can dream up. I have certain responsibilities to attend to. You know, I really am quite the busy man. Or are you just pretending to be busy? That's an awful thing to say to a fragile old man. I work harder than I should at my age. I ask you, my boy, what could I even hope to accomplish by putting up such a pretense? You obviously don't want to talk about the case anymore. That's why you're so keen to get out of this conversation. It's just so tragic. It really is. That you would suspect me of such things. It's not a suspicion, it's a certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base Kay's arrest for a start. Now, my boy, let's not get carried away. There was plenty of evidence to support our case. The mask, the letter, the corsage. These were all in her possession. And, of course, her confession. More than enough to prove her guilt, I'd say. Those are... What's the matter? Struggling to come up with a way to explain everything away? You have it. Your silence speaks volumes. It's true I can't counter your argument right now. Listen, suspiciously detailed knowledge of the evidence against Kay. You rattled off that list like you knew it inside out. That might prove to be a valuable clue. Wait, we're not done yet. I'm tired of all this talking, so make it brief. Who gave the order? Who decided that Kay should be arrested? You know, I can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old, Miles, my boy. It wreaks havoc on the memory. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop playing the old man card. You remembered the details of the evidence against Kay pretty clearly. Perhaps if your memory didn't fail you only when it was convenient, I'd be more inclined to believe you. Get the boomer. Get the boomer! So let me ask you again. Who gave the order for Kay's arrest? Actually, who gave the order? Let's go on. 1951? No, that's a boomer. Alright. Let me ask you again. Who gave the order for Kay's arrest? You're a sharp one. I'll give you that. My son can learn a thing or two from you. Your son needs to wear a helmet, quite frankly. He can't be trusted to go up and down the stairs, let alone run a case. He wasn't such an incurable numbskull, that is. It's a tragedy, really. I don't want to hear about your son. I want to know who authorized the arrest. Very neat. You know that, don't you? Arrest, you say? I believe the order was given by... God, there's still so much more. Come now, Chairman Winner. We both know it was you. Alright, you got me. You make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though. But I have a reputation to uphold, so I guess I'd better clear up this little misunderstanding. I'll entertain your questions for a few more minutes. Let's see if I can't put your mind at ease. Now, is to establish how intimately he knows the details of the case. I just have to ask the right question. The endgame is at hand. We're but a few moves away from the truth. You seem to know the case in quite some detail. I know about lots of things, my boy. I'm just smart like that. Too bad the same can't be said about the way you handled Kay's arrest. I'm very busy man. Do try to remember that I can bring this little chat to an end whenever I so choose. It's only taking so long because you won't give me a straight answer to any of my questions. If only you'd stop giving me the runaround, we'd be done already. Let's try this again. You seem to know the details of the case quite intimately. Why is that? Because I read the case file. Not exactly the most thrilling use of my time, of course, but it's part of the job. I have to be a good role model. I can't be seen to be slacking. It can be so hard. But I had some time on my hands, so I read the whole thing cover to cover. That's strange. I could have sworn you just told me you're a very busy man. I'd say the cracks are finally starting to show. If you're so keen on being an upstanding leader, you can start by releasing Kay, you know. You really don't give up, do you? It's a moving sight indeed, my boy. But a tragic one, too. After all, your efforts are for naught. I'm afraid your little friend was found unconscious near the scene of the crime. We've yet to hear much about the circumstances under which Kay was found. She was lying unconscious in the storeroom, correct? That's right, although I'm not at liberty to tell you how I know that. He knows things even we didn't. In fact, he seems to be aware of every tiny detail about this case. This could be a valuable clue. The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her exactly? I know that she's the suspect. Aside from that, not much else. Cross my heart, but it's true. Time to deploy my clue. I don't know why I said it like that. Sorry, but the more you tell me, the less sense your story makes. For one thing, you know details that even those investigating the scene were not aware of. Why is that? Just how much do you really know, Chairman Winner? Oh, there's that intimidating face you like to make again. Well, two can play this game. How do you like me now, I do have to commend you on your doggedness. It really is something. I'll take that as a compliment. Take it however you like, but wrap this up, will you? I just don't have the stamina anymore. She's the culprit, any possible subject. Just accept that already. How much more evidence did you want us to load her down with, for goodness sake? Load her down with? Yet another interesting turn of phrase. One that makes it sound a lot like the items Kay was carrying might have been foisted upon her. Foisted. Impressive. Really do pay attention, don't you? It's no wonder they used to call you a prodigy, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. I think you know the answer to your own question by now. Why don't you just go ahead and say it? I want to hear it from you. Time to shed the light on the truth. What's up to do is play one last move. Kay is innocent. That's just clumsy. Anyone can blurt out a baseless assertion like that, even a disgraced superstar prosecutor. Kay was framed. The true culprit set it all up so she would take the fall instead. That is my answer, and I won't let you deny it any longer. Oh, he burnt his beard? Oh, ho, 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 ho. My, you really are a sharp one, Oh my god. It's a bit of a shame. Bit of a shame you chose to hand in your badge. I admit it. You're right on all accounts. Let's check it. Oh God, my eyes are watering. Why is my face leaking? Ugh. You knew Kay wasn't the real murderer, and yet you still had her arrested. What's worse, you thought you could get away with it. Won't. Not if I can help it. There you go with that naivete again, my boy. I guess that was always your problem. The girl arrested and a conviction secured. This whole mess goes away, and that's what will happen. But whose interests does a conclusion like that serve? The committee's, I suppose. And mine. Oh. You know, listening to you just now, well, it really got the tears flowing, I have to say. It was poignant and heartfelt and sincere, and utterly infuriating. Look, I'm not perfect, I know that, but your lack of sophistication in these matters is beyond the pale. You insist that the truth is more important than anything else. Would you say the same if you knew what the real value of the truth is? What are you trying to say? When you get to my level, you don't uncover the truth. You make it, little by little. Hey, Faraday, murderer. That's the truth. The truth I created. Bastard. Yes, my boy, that's what I like to see. You're so sincere sometimes. It's painful. It just makes me want to put you in your place. Knowing the real truth will get you nowhere. Because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. Shocking, I know. Why not go after the real killer? How much do you even know about what really happened? You're still not getting it. That's your truth. And it is worthless. Mine is all that matters. You understand what I'm saying, don't you, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I have all the power here. Curse you. Although that should be a damn you. Yeah, that should have been damn you. Well, aren't you menacing? You and your little friend are just as bad as each other. Violent criminals who deserve to be locked up. You'll pay for this. And with that, yet another person disappears from my life. Oh, it just makes me want to cry and cry and cry. He's a motherfucker. I am tired of these prosecutor people, man. I'm not planning to disappear just yet, Chairman Winter. There's still the hearing later today. Just you wait. One way or another, I'll prove Kay's innocence to the world then. Why is Lotta there? So I'm guessing that empty chair is where Rosie was to sit. I'm surprised she's allowed to wear what she's wearing when everyone else is in different robes. 10 members, over a majority are present. I hereby call this hearing to an order. We are gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Here, in the sight of the goddess, we do solemnly swear to pass fair and frank judgment. Fair and frank? Don't make me. Verity, if you'd be so kind as to summarize the case against Mr. Edgeworth. On April 5th, despite having been advised of the illegality of an investigation he was conducting, the accused refused to desist and eventually had to be detained by myself and Chairman Winter. His actions compromised the investigation into the murder of a certain defense attorney. And despite having been presented with copious evidence of her guilt, he continues to insist that the suspect, 1K Faraday, is innocent of all charges. Perhaps you could explain the details of the murder to us as well? Of course. On the morning of the 5th, the body of the victim was found here in the committee chamber. Further explanation will be provided by me, Eustace Winner, Premier Prosecutor. The floor is yours, Mr. Winner. The murder itself happened late on the night of the 4th. The victim was Miss Rosie Ringer. That same night, an illicit auction was being held here in this very room. Ringer took part in that auction, I think. Yeah. So a fat man, a probably tall man, a woman, and a judge's table again. Meaning that the murder took place sometime during the auction. When she was found, Ringer was dressed in an outfit that matched the description of the auctioneers. However, due to the fact that the auction carried on after the murder had occurred, I deduce that Ringer was not, in fact, the auctioneer. Wow. Okay. Let's put together. You deduce nothing of the sort. Right, like he was told all this, but the fact that he's giving it back. Good little parrot. And what about the basis on which the suspect was detained, Mr. Winner? Yeah, I got this. So, Faraday was overcome by crushing remorse, Eustace. Okay, pageant mom. Yeah, that. Tons of crushing remorse, so she confessed. According to her confession, she was on the roof of this building when she encountered a person in a red raincoat on the viewing platform. That person was Miss Ringer, I take it? Precisely, Mr. Chairman. The killer dressed the victim in the auctioneer's outfit after the fact. But at the time when she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat. Who won the race to find that raincoat nearby? Me, that too. Did you? I thought it was somebody from Strictly speaking, it was found by one of the forensic investigators under Mr. Winner's command. Knew it. She's honest. You gotta give her that. The blood analysis on the coat showed that it was indeed Miss Ringer who had worn it. And the suspect's confession was the final nail in the coffin. She confirmed having committed the murder. So as you can see, Kay Faraday was the killer. There's no way anybody else could have done it. Alright, Miles, I suspect you have some objections. Let's get them out of the way, shall we? I have no objections, Chairman Winner. Well now, is that so? I thought it would take more than a single night in detention to... No objections in the matter of my unauthorized investigation, that is. But in the matter of Miss Faraday's supposed guilt, I have plenty. I can personally attest to the fact that Mr. Winner's investigation was fair and impartial. Of course it was. When it comes to carefully conducted ops, I'm the winner every time. You know, Miles, it's within my power to offer you a plea deal of sorts. If, and this is purely hypothetical of course, you were to withdraw your objection, you might wake up tomorrow and find yourself the proud owner of a seat on this committee. So I ask you again, do you have any objections, Mr. Edgeworth? You think you can buy my silence? Think again. You will watch your mouth. Only if the chairman watches his. I didn't come here to talk about committee seats. I came here to talk about the murder case. I demand a statement under oath, and I won't rest until I have one. I want to know exactly what the committee's view on the incident is. You want to put us on trial, my boy? Very well, if it'll make you happy. Verity, please provide Mr. Edgeworth with the materials pertaining to the case. Really? But, sir... This will be his last hurrah, so let's humor him with a send-off he desires. If you say so, Mr. Chairman. What the fuck? You have no objections to Verity representing the committee, I assume. They're actually given everything. None whatsoever. Mr. Edgeworth. Don't worry, Kay. Everything will be fine. We will see. Committee's view of the case. Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale. So our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof. After she'd emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Verity. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case. The raincoat was on offer that night? Is that really true? We believe so, yes. You remember the failed assassination attempt on the president of Zhengfa, I assume. The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility, but our inquiries revealed that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances. Wound up in an auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose. Wonderful work, Verity. Just wonderful. Crystal clear as ever. You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat. I'll do no such thing, thank you very much. Well, good to know that you still have some fight in you. Yes? Why? Come to think of it, she's trained when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? Okay, let's get to it, boys. Let's get to the game. Okay.
Objection!
Maybe you can clear something up for me, Judge Gavale. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? She is an eyewitness. I thought it would be obvious. Well, now, I ain't really an eyewitness, more of an ear witness, I guess. She's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? I like to think I choose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you should question them more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the storeroom, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred upon the roof. Up on the roof, not upon. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom, just before she took this picture. Wait, you're saying Gavale got it wrong? That's exactly what I'm saying. What? Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night, you saw the person in the picture, correct? I sure did. Clear as day. And with my own 2 eyes to boot. And what were your impressions at that point? My impression? This right here is the scoop of the century. Something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was hoping more of your impressions of the person in question. Oh, there's a walk-in meal ticket? Girl. Seriously? Just a little joke. No need to look at me like I done sat on your lunch. Full red raincoat, right? Why, I took one look and I thought that's our perp right there. Therein lies the rub. For Miss Hart to have thought such a thing. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when will you learn to use your words? If it's an explanation of the facts that you require, you need only ask, you know. What do you mean? I assume you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. Voices that may be unrelated.
Objection!
Unrelated? You can do better than that. Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really even Miss Ringer's? You're kidding me, right? Them folks was talking crime-related turkey. Or my name ain't Lotta Dang Hart. Lotta Dang Hart. She does have a lot of dang heart, let me tell you what. But did you hear them clearly? Well, can't rightly say for sure. I can't rightly say nothing, you know it. They was using voice changers, I done told y'all that. Precisely. Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised, which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder.
Objection!
Oh, we got the finger. She got the finger. You done fucked up, Verity. Huh. You don't need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr. Edgeworth. Ooh. Seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavale. Nonsense. Verity's the best of us, my boy. The very best. And yet she believes that what Miss Hart heard might have not had it. And yet she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not have had anything to do with the murder? Even supposing that that's the case, it doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up onto the roof. That much we can say for certain. And I can tell you why. This murder incident happened before the victim went up onto the roof. Bloody hand.
Take that!
Bloody hand. We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Yes, because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw on the person's hand. I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack. Now, it tells us something very important about the victim, too. This picture tells us that the victim... There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom. But here we have photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood on her hand is from the wound she had sustained. What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound? Ooh, can we not? Ooh. The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winter. I imagine that she used her hand to try and staunch a wound. That's right. While it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here. Oh, well that certainly would change things, wouldn't it? It very much would. Not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken. After the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you that all Kay witnessed was the victim finally succumbing to her wound. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that or pretending to not remember it. What fact am I forgetting? I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Put the boy out of his misery. Yeah, Gavale works for me. Why do you keep giving her orders? That's my job. Really are. A total and utter embarrassment. I'm not. I hate to break it to you, but you both are. Go to it, Gavale. Put Edgeworth out of his misery. As you wish. She's a puppet. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in its chest. And we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's That's right. They're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabra. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune. Very well. Nicely done, Gavel. Now Edgeworth will have to make several objections. Yes, I'm afraid I will. What? Why weren't you listening? Oh, I was listening. Very carefully, in fact. Hence my objection. Come on, why do you always have to undermine me? That's never my intention, I assure you. It isn't? You do it so well to yourself every single... Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that, because I'm... Please, Eustace, just stop for goodness sake. You've already embarrassed me enough. Huh? What do you mean, Dad?
Objection!
Oh, that felt good. Sneezed. Chairman Winter, you know what this is, of course. The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it? That's right, isn't it, Verity? Yes, sir. The one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here. Well, I'm afraid I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll just answer me this, Judge Gavale. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found? Of course. They were found on the hood and... No! What's the matter, Verity? The hood and... Was blood anywhere else on the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there would be blood in the chest area in the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we concede this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. That is quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. I have to admit, you have me intrigued. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction with some evidence. Which piece of evidence demonstrates? Which is it? I think it's gonna be this one here. Actually, I don't fucking know.
Take that!
This is Dr. Hertz's preliminary findings, according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee chamber with all due haste. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close. Good girl. Yes, Your Honor. I'll go fetch her at once. Good girl, Verity. Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. I doubt she will be able to come and meet. In the meantime, there's another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case. The so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they? Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh? Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't know even the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet. But there is someone involved with the case that I can name. I suspect that at the very least they might be able to help point us in the right direction. And that's Chairman Winner. I demand that you testify as to what you know. What? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad? You would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee? Do you understand the implications of such an act? I don't care who or what he. We're talking about the truth here. And about a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, the corsage, the ticket stub, and everything else. The items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow. By Chairman Winner himself. A shocking accusation. One I find hard to believe, but for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing? To case suspicion on Kay. Would that be cast? Of course, why else? I even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Your rebuttal, please. I think the good chairman might be in shock. So what if I did? Did you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much? Where's your proof? No witnesses to speak of. Your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell us that you have something more to base your outburst on? He still has the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet... Mr. Edgeworth, I'm going to have to ask you to explain yourself. If that's alright, Mr. Chairman. Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea that I'm some sort of criminal. Because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. Nerve, acting all innocent like that. Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hollowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should, by rights, only be accessible to the members of the committee. Yeah? They all have key cards to the room, after all. Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there can only be one winning explanation. That's right, Mr. Winner. But the auctioneer is a member of the committee. What? No! What on earth is wrong now? What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hands. Oh, you did indeed, you utter nitwit. But Miles, my boy, you do realize that you cast quite the wide net with your explanation. That's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether, 10 given Miss Ritter's unfortunate passing, and potential suspects in total. And there's a woman in the third seat. He is hunched over. The guy next to him is not fat. Oh, it certainly isn't me. And it can't be the chairman, can it? Whoever it is, speak up right now. Disarray. Calm down, all of you, please. Well, Miles, is that all the proof you've got against me? You're very quiet all of a sudden, but it's too late to back out now. You've accused a former chief prosecutor and current chairman of a crime. I would tell you to prepare for the worst. But there is no preparing for what you're about to face. Look at those eyes. Did you see those fucking eyes? Oh. Know your place. You've been forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I can hardly even remember. God, like father, like son. But you needn't have bothered, my boy. Because it's all irrelevant, man. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she didn't. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it. So rejoice. There you have it. Feel free to pick holes in it as you see fit. And when that was barely a testimony to begin with. That man, he's a very powerful person, isn't he? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, just let it go. I did it. I'm the murderer. I even remember doing it. You saw a flash of something half-remembered, Kay. Nothing more. You must believe in something. Believe me when I say you should believe in your own innocence instead. But... head of the committee here. Going to be easy. Seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I can use that against him.
Hold it!
Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. Kay is suffering from amnesia, so any statement she makes should be taken with the least a grain of salt.
Objection!
Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it, dear boy? It would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I tell you what, why don't we ask her one last time? I'm sure she'll just say she did it again. Fine, let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Huh? You mean me? Is this really what you want, Mr. Edgeworth? If it goes badly, it could significantly weaken your position. I know, but there's no other way. I only request that I be the one to question her. You really know how to tug it at old man's heartstrings, don't you? But fine, ask away on one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. We'll call the proceedings to an end. An and there. That should be end. Agreed. Oh, we'll call the proceedings to an end. Then and there. Call the proceedings to an end? You mean the hearing? Yes, dear boy, that's right. Perhaps you aren't a complete muddlehead after all. Now, just so that we're clear, if we ask again, and all that happens is the girl confirms her guilt, he is officially declared guilty on the spot. Yes, that sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself. That's it? You just declare her guilty just like that? That's the gist of it. Take a rest. Find a way to condemn her either way if we don't. Hey, yes? I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Why? Why are you still fighting it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's no use. I can't be of help to you. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to try and remember anymore. What if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. Please, just accept it. The Kay you thought you knew is a dangerous criminal. A criminal who let you down and betrayed your trust. Don't worry, Kay. You have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for very long, but I know you well enough. And right now, I'd say I know you better than you know yourself. You would never commit a murder. You could never, because this is who you really are.
Take that!
You're the great thief Yutagarasu. A noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Because all I can see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it.
Hold it!
No. The only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? No, no, it's not that. You're trying so hard to help me. And you're risking so much for me. It's too much. You have to stop. I'm begging you. Ah, so that's what's going on. I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded and accepting your fate is because of me, isn't it? Which is exactly what the K I know would have done. You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not. And I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So, you see, I've merely been servicing my own ego, regardless of what I put you through. Now, let's try this again. Do the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief you truly are. That memory of you committing the murder? You need to question it with all you have. That's all I ask. So please, do it for me. Okay. What's wrong? Did you remember something? Oh. It'd be like some cliche movie plot if she did. A cow. A cow? Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details? Well, Kay, what can you tell us about this cow? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat, she had it in her hand. A stuffed cow. I can see it so clearly now. Are you sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain? Yes, I'm sure. Then this court acknowledges the defendant's latest statements as new testimony.
Objection!
You lost your mind, Verity. We can't accept testimony like this. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victim and her possessions is new and highly relevant evidence.
Objection!
Need I remind you of the adult state of her memory? No, this simply won't do. Oh, now you don't like that she has amnesia, right? Okay, sure. Addled? But if we claim her memory is unreliable now, then our own argument is weakened, sir. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves over the finer details, did you not? Were we to call the validity of her memories into question? Oh, were we to call the validity of her memories into question, then we must also call into question the confession on which our entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action? Yes, you're right. Proceed as you see fit, then. Mr. Chairman. You know what? As annoying as she is, she's absolutely right now. We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth. Those are called gums. I never understood that. The skin of our teeth. Like, those are gums. And only thanks to Judge Gavale's intervention. It's almost as if she was on our side for a second. She seems to be truly neutral, if not very misinformed. Hello, Mr. Edgeworth, the stuffed animal. Hello, Mr. Edgeworth. I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom, and believe it is yet another auction lot. Wait, that's... You know something, Gavale? No, it's just not what I imagined. I suppose it's a rather odd thing for the victim to... I should look it over carefully. wait, hold on. So, like, is it a metal doll? The right horn seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for the overall symmetry of this stuffed toy. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it moves. It does? Sounds like sand being crushed? It seems there is a recording device hidden inside. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge. This be the moment of the murder? And someone made a recording of it. Hey, that's them right there. Them's the voices I heard. Sure as eggs is eggs.
Overruled.
Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying when these voices were recorded. It's possible they had nothing to do with the murder. If only there were some accompanying video footage. You got bugs in your ears or something, lady? I done told you. Them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, right? So it's gotta be from when she got. When she got. Work. Yes, it's a possibility, but a weak one without more than your word to back it up. We need something more. Oh, we need something more. Something incredible. Yet again, she seems to be stepping in to help. Judge Gavale, I think we all know the voices are from the moment of the murder. Consider for a moment the words we heard one of the speakers say. I knew it was you from the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. I believe we have something that could explain what these words are referring to and how it's all related.
Take that!
Coroner's preliminary findings? How do they prove anything? Indeed, what on this page shows the voices must be the one from the time of the murder.
Take that!
Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. The victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand. And what of it? According to case testimony, the victim was carrying their stuffed cow toy. And a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording it captured. Ha! It's just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Overruled.
I'm not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder, in which case one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit. And based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we hear the most. That still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity, or even if they're male or female. Each of the voice changer is correct, unfortunate but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We are now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. Just like I done told you they was. We can say something else now, too. Let's hear it. That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Do as you wish. According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, two people came up to the storeroom from the committee chamber on the elevator. The ringleader was one of the auction attendees. It seems this was the point at which money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterward. The auction carried on after that. All of which points to one key fact. What else does this leave us with? Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Hey, Gavale. Not right now, Eustace. Here's a good boy. If they weren't the victim, then they could only have been the killer.
Overruled.
A compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I am fully aware of that, Your Honor. I was merely warming up for the main event. There were certain traces left on the scene that seemed to suggest that the ringleader was the killer. Then please, hurry up and show us. What is something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader having been killed?
Take that!
The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the Goddess of Justice statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in this chamber. But it was simply a ruse designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom. In order to conceal the existence of the underground auction, correct? Correct. If the culprit had nothing to do with the auction, it would have had no reason to cover up that blood. Which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer were one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do you have anyone you'd like to name? The auction is always held in this committee chamber with its storeroom located just overhead. So at the very least, we know the murderous ringleader has some connection to the committee. Yes, yes. And you suspect me, correct? As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly a surprise. That should hardly a surprise. That should hardly be a surprise. Right?
Objection!
You're a fine prosecutor. That much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned already, you're also hopelessly naive. You've got nothing, dear boy, have you? No evidence whatsoever. Unless you've got something to share after all. Do I have any evidence to show that Chairman Winter is the murderer? It was Chairman Winter himself who brought up the fact that I suspected him. He seemed confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable. Means he knows. He knows I have nothing. Oh. Well, Miles, my boy. Time to pay the piper. Ah, I've always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Wait, dang it. I just remembered something. Huh? Did you have amnesia too? No, it just done came to me. Flash of inspiration, you know how it is. Very well, say your piece.
Objection!
What are you doing, Verity? Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear that he won't give up until every last lick of hope has been extinguished. So extinguish we must, lest he try to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Yeah, what she said. I don't quite get it, but it sounded pretty cool. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Gavale bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are. Fine. Let's hear what the witness has to say. You heard the chairman, Miss Hart, if you would be so kind. All right, then. Here goes nothing. The facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth. Color me me officially worried. So the ringleader's the killer, right? Which makes the victim one of them auction goers. Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? And the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now, I had me a look back downstairs right after that. And when you know it, there were 11 little duckies all lined up in a row again. How? And just sure of this, Miss Hart. Pretty part. Sure as sure can be your gavel ship. So I'm with my own two peepers. So, 11 before the murder and 11 again right after. Wait, that's a thingy. That's a thingy! A contradiction. This, do try to keep up. Miss Hart, did nothing really change at all? I done told you already. They carried right on again like nothing even happened. Oh, except for it wasn't nothing much, but what is it? That little old mallet doodad. Can't have yourself an auction without one. Kinda like the one Missy over there's got, but different. The auctioneer's hammer? That's the bunny. I done heard that thing banging and clanging right the way through, like nothing, just like that. The noise of the hammer stopped midway through. Could it have something to do with the murder? Oh shit. She was gavelled to death. I really don't remember this case at all, if we're being honest. I have played this, I swear. And I do remember who. I don't remember anything else. If what Miss Hart is telling us is true, we have something of a problem. Namely that if the victim is neither the auctioneer nor one of the attendees, your entire theory cannot stand, Mr. Edgeworth. One up for justice. Eat that, Edgeworth. Eat these nuts, you little shit stand. Oh, wait, he's only 17. I can't say that. Eat shit. See, Mr. Edgeworth? There really was nothing we could do. No, there must be something we're overlooking. Something we still don't have an explanation for. I just need to think. Yeah. Alright, kids. Do we finally all have all our answers now? If so, then I expect to make good. One moment, sir. I worry that it still might be a little too early to pass judgment. After all, we have one more matter yet to resolve. And until we do, we cannot claim complete and total victory over Edgeworth. Is that not so, Mr. Edgeworth? Frankly, I expected you to have raised your voice by now. A loud hold it, perhaps? A loud hold it, perhaps? Oh, yes, of course. Once again, she has rescued us from the jaws of defeat. Very well. Let's get this over with, shall we? What is this one matter that still remains? Why, the contradiction in the coroner's report, sir. That's... I'm back with the witnesses, Your Honor. What's all this about? Why'd you call us back down here? Somebody suddenly fall ill? I have a compress ready and the shakes of a ow. 2 shakes of a ow. This better be good. Did somebody else drop dead? Well, they might soon wish they had. Dr. Hertz, Miss Needler, thank you for coming on such a short notice. Let me assure you, this won't take long. Quit trying to butter me up and cut to the chase, will you? Of course. We summoned you here to confirm something. What is Judge Gavale up to? Oi Gavalt. Dr. Hertz, this court asks that you provide the unabridged truth regarding the following. Do you stand by your preliminary findings? Can you vouch for their complete and total accuracy? Grandma doesn't make mistakes, ever! That's strange. Huh? What do you mean? In the course of this trial, an error was indeed found in her report. And so I ask again for the truth, Dr. Hertz. Did you alter, tamper with, or in any way falsify your findings? That's awful! How can you even say that? What are you asking me for? Why the heck would I want to do that? To help the true culprit, of course. As if I'd know anything about all that. I just know I didn't do anything of the sort. Then that seems doubly strange. What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report? Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might have any thoughts on the matter? It's not like you to be coy, I must say. Why does she keep taking charge and helping me? I still don't know what she's trying to do, but I'll happily take what I can get. If everything was reported accurately and handed off to Mr. Winter according to protocol, then the report shouldn't contain any mistakes. Wait. For the record, I didn't do anything to the report. I guess we'll see, won't we? Dr. Hertz, perhaps we could begin with your side of the story? Why do we need to? This is pointless. I'll be the judge of what's pointless, thank you very much. We have patients waiting back at the hospital. But Grandma, ouch! We really don't have time for this. Won't you please help us? I can't stress how important this is. Grandma says she'll testify. But could you please make it quick? If we're not back soon, people will suffer. Yet you had no qualms about taking your time and buying cotton candy the last time we saw you. We'll let you go as soon as we can, I promise. Assuming you tell us the truth. Well, last time it was after hours. Like, doctors do still have working hours. They're on call a lot, but like... So-called mistake in the report. There's no way a mistake in Grandma's... There's no way there's a mistake in Grandma's report. Not never. I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive, Sonny Jim. Me writing something wrong is about as likely as... Ouch! What the heck do you think I stand to gain by doctoring a file, huh? Don't make a lick of sense. That's all she has to say. Nothing funky here. I see. It's just as I thought. There's no chance the good doctor doctored her findings. You swear by the holy goddess that this testimony is true. Of course! Grandma's never told a lie. Your opinions are not necessary, Nurse Needler. Your grandmother is the subject of this inquiry, not you. Not necessary? That's not fair. I'm the only ally poor Grandma has. Go ahead and shout objection left and right. You best be prepared then, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. Oh, I'm more than prepared. I'm ready to expose the truth behind the error in the report. I'm glad you are, because I don't have a clue of what the hell's going on.
Hold it!
Never? You're saying that Dr. Hertz is invaluable? He has to be. A doctor can't afford to make mistakes. Even a veteran like Grandma would be out of a job if she messed up even once. There's no way she of all people would... I got a whole hospital relying on me. Might be you can bungle your work to survive, mister, but I can't.
Hold it!
I love how she hits her with the cane. It's like, pop. The victim appears to have put this raincoat on after sustaining the head injury. And yet there was not a single drop of blood in the chest area on the raincoat. Therefore, she must have been hit in the head before she was stabbed in the chest, making it pre-mortem. Oh, that's... Ouch! I don't need you to teach me how to suck eggs, young man. I don't need you to suck nothing, lady. My dang report already says what you just said, don't it?
Objection!
Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said. Oh. Sure. I diligently dictated that report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said. Something happened to it after that. Weren't nothing to do with me. You dictated it? You could please tell me more?
Objection!
Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself. Oh, I'll read it to you. Ouch! This ain't what I said. This ain't what I said at all. What? What do you mean exactly? Yeah, keep hitting her. Oh. I don't know. But I can't say that. Miss Needler, if you are attempting to bury Dr. Hertz's truth, I will gladly hear her confession myself on behalf of the Goddess of Justice. Dr. Hertz seems to feel something. What? I see. Very well. Allow me to relay to everyone what you've just told me. Ain't no doubt about what I said. I dictated my findings to Florence just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down or wrong or something. Wow, that was a great impression. Oh. I don't know what's funnier. Her voice actually doing the danged accent, or her reading it as properly as I just did. Yes. But was it really necessary? So in summary, there is an error in the report. And it was all because of you, Nurse Needler. The true facts have now been shown to be that the head injury occurred prior to the chest wound. The question now, Miss Needler, is why did you introduce such an error? Just a minute, Verity. You make it sound as if the poor girl did it deliberately. Whereas it seems to me she just made a little mistake. Pre-mortem, post-mortem, they're practically the same word, don't you think? Except they mean two completely opposite things. This was deliberate, no doubt about it. But why would she want to change it? Exactly, thanks, Ow. Ouch! You won't get away that easy. Explain yourself, young lady. But, Grandma, You submitified a falsified... You submitified, I am from Oz, clearly. You submitted a falsified report, an act that led to Kay being accused of murder. You owe us an explanation. I can't tell you. Not don't want to, but can't? This is really rather unpleasant, don't you think? Ganging up on this poor, considerate girl who's only looking after her grandmother. She has nothing to do with anything. She simply made one tiny mistake, so why not leave it there?
Objection!
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because the only person her testimony would hurt is you. What on earth do you mean, my boy? Seeing as you're now a de facto ex-prosecutor, you're going to need to explain yourself better than that. Explain these nuts going down your throat, old man. I'd be happy to. I'll even spell it out for you. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because... Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice. Ouch. Oh, so she's a co-conspirator. This innocent young thing? Do share your grounds for making such a wild accusation, dear boy. Murder couldn't have been committed by one person working on their own. Without at least two people, it wouldn't have been possible to... If the auctioneer was the murderer and the victim was one of the attendees, the fact that a witness testified to there being 11 attendees even after the murder doesn't make sense. Hey, watch it! You gotta call my good word into question now, too? That's not what I meant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm taking you at your word, which means there must have been a co-conspirator. I know it's hard, my boy, but sometimes you just have to accept that you were wrong.
Objection!
I wasn't wrong. I just hadn't considered the possibility of the killer having an accomplice. But as soon as we do, things start to fall into place. If the killer's accomplice returned to the auction room in place of the victim, there would indeed have been 11 attendees both before and after the murder. Well, well, so that's your thinking, is it? It's certainly an intriguing theory. But surely the imposter would have been spotted right away. I don't imagine that Nurse Needler looks strikingly different from the victim in build and stature. With the help of a mask, she could very easily have replaced Miss Ringer without anybody noticing. Well, Nurse Needler, is that what happened? Did you take the victim's place at the auction? I wouldn't do something like... Now tell us, the ringleader, who were they? I can't tell you. I just can't. It hurt Grandma too. Ow! But Grandma... Don't you worry about me, I can take it. You just tell me everything, child. But... Grandma... Oh, she broke her hair. Oh, shit. Oh, and she knocked her glasses off? So I was right. She was an accomplice. Miss Needler, why? Well, Miss Needler? Miss Needler, can you explain yourself? Yes. Huh? Oh, thank you, Grandma, but I'm alright now. I confess it. I changed places with Miss Ringer. So you admit that you were working with the ringleader? Yeah, I was helping them. I don't know how, but I found out Miss Ringer was going to attack them. Culprit was going to be attacked by the victim? They seemed pretty sure it was going to happen that night, so they made a counter move. They wanted to strike first, and they wanted me to help them. I was told to go to the storeroom before the auction began and wait there. Now, hold on right there, Missy. I didn't see nothing, and my eyes don't lie. If you'd have been there from before the auction, I would have bumped right into you. I was there the whole way through, and you weren't there for a bit of it. But I'm not lying. That's easy for you to say, but you were lying about altering that report only a few minutes ago. I mean, hey, yeah. Once a liar, always a liar. Huh. I think we're all well aware of the number of potential hiding places in that storeroom. Are we? Where exactly are you trying to say our friend the nurse was hiding? Nurse Needler hid here while she was waiting in the storeroom. Ah.
Take that!
She hid inside this clothes box. Oh, she did she? Ah, well, it was there the whole time. Even before I moseyed on in. But like I done told you, it had all them chains around it. I wanted to hide in there myself, really, but it was locked up tight, so I had to go elsewhere. I imagine that's because Nurse Needler was already lying in there by the time you arrived. That's right. We didn't want anybody to open it or it would have really blown our cover. The ringleader told me to climb in and wait until it was time for my part of it. And then they wrapped the whole box up in chain. I think they took the elevator downstairs not so long after. But it was just before the auction was due to start. So, as the auction was beginning, Hart would have been the only people in the storeroom. Yeah, I think so. The auction had proceeded as it always did, until a certain customer came upstairs to complete her purchase. That was when the incident occurred. Miss Hart overheard the victim and the culprit exchanging words. You betcha! I was behind that statue there, shaking like a dang leaf the whole time. In the middle of their quarrel, Miss Ringer was killed by the auctioneer. I imagine that the auctioneer then carried Miss Ringer's body over to the clothes box, from which Nurse Needler emerged and swapped places with the victim. After placing Miss Ringer's body inside the box, Nurse Needler's role now was to pretend to be Miss Ringer. The two of them then returned to the room below as if nothing had happened. Does that about sum up what happened in the storeroom, Nurse Needler? Yes. In fact, that's exactly what happened. Hold up, so you just waltzed right back on in and nobody noticed? This is two completely different people we're talking about. You're telling me that not one of the other folks down there at the auction cottoned on? Why would they? The other auction goers had no reason to notice the difference when Nurse Needler entered because... As we've seen, Miss Ringer and Nurse Needler are about the same age. What's more, the auction rules required attendees to wear their masks at all times. If Nurse Needler was wearing the same clothes as Miss Ringer, nobody would have been any the wiser. No, they weren't. I borrowed Miss Ringer's clothes and ouch! And left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl? Oh, Grandma, I thought the same thing. It wouldn't be nice to leave her like that. So when the ringleader wasn't looking, I put the raincoat on her. That's how Miss Ringer. Thus, the auction was able to carry on as before. Guess the part where I caught the red raincoat on film came just after. Yeah, it must be. And it all makes sense. Right after that was when I went on over and looked downstairs through the gap in the elevator. Spied me 11 happy little auction goers. Then back I snuck to my tiny little hidey hole. Don't tell me you were hiding back there the entire time after that. Well, that is not exactly... What is it? Did something happen? Maybe I had mentioned this before, but I fell asleep for a few winks after that. Well, passed out unconscious, you might say. What? What happened? Oh, nothing much. Kind of silly, really. But there was this sudden loud noise, and it startled me just a little bit, you know. Alright, maybe more than a little, but I just witnessed a murder. Can't blame a girl for getting jumpy. Guess that got my heart shook and my head faint. Before I knew it, I was out like a light. By the time I came to, it was the next dang day. And there y'all were, clanking down that ladder. I see. You were startled by a loud noise and fell unconscious. I suppose that means you don't know what happened after that? Not per se, but, well, after the auction was over, all the masks were put on the rack. So I reckon the guests done finished up and filed out one by one as like they was supposed to. Nurse Needler, once the auction had restarted, what exactly were you doing? I was pretending to be Miss Ringer and placing bids, just as the ringleader wanted. I had to win the clothes box as I'd been instructed. It had a dead body inside, after all. Imagine if someone else had won it. Would have been in real trouble then. You had no idea that the victim had vacated the box in the meantime. No, not until we came back up. If I could pay for it. That was when we noticed. The ringleader told me to go look for her right away. But I found some other girl collapsed at the foot of the ladder instead. Okay. Yes, she must have fallen from up on the roof and been knocked unconscious. Guess the victim must have left that hatch wide open, huh? That would explain it. He would have been so shocked at seeing Miss Ringer fall motionless right in front of her that she wouldn't have seen the hatch open and fallen right through it. That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor. Yeah, I suppose. Can't believe something like that done knocked me out for so long, though. So in summary, by the time Miss Neither found Kay, you were already sound asleep behind the statue. I think we got a good grasp on what happened up to this point now. Nurse Needler, if you would continue. Sure. So I found Kay, and next I found Miss Ringer, and I put them both in the clothes box. I couldn't risk any of the auction goers seeing that. That would have caused a real hullabaloo. Was that your idea or the ringleader's? Theirs. But putting the raincoat on Miss Ringer was my own idea. So I tried to get rid of it before they found out what I'd done. I imagine they were none too pleased when it showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case. And lastly, the ringleader and I put her in an auctioneer's outfit we'd prepared. Of course, which completed the deception and made everyone think she was the auctioneer. All in all, the auction finished up without anybody noticing anything, and what's that? Oh my god. Yawning. Now that we know the extent of your crimes, Mr. Needler, if you have anything further to share, I'd advise you to do so immediately. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm sorry, that's all I know. Oh, except for one other thing. It did seem a little strange, I guess. When I was borrowing Miss Ringer's clothes, I took everything I could, but I couldn't take her hair, obviously, so ouch! You're dang right you couldn't take her hair. What kind of medical professional are you? That's where you draw the line, so taking her clothes is okay? Our hair was totally different. The style, the length, everything, but I kind of panicked. The ringleader thought of everything, including wigs. 2 of them, in fact. There was a straight one and a wavy one. They were both stashed in the clothes box. 2 wigs? But why? Right? I'd wonder that too. I thought maybe they were worried she might have changed up her style. Anyway, I took the straight one. That was the one that matched her hair on the day. Leaving a wavy wig in the box. We don't know anything about this wig, do we? That's everything you know? There's nothing else you're forgetting? No. Huh? No, really, Grandma, that's everything. And I take it that you really have no idea who the ringleader might be. Sorry, I only know that they were in charge of the auction. I didn't see them without their mask on. They were pretty careful to keep their identity a secret from everyone. Get something concrete on them. Oh, well, Miles, are we about done? You've proven the nurse was part of the murder plot, but sadly for you, it doesn't change a whole lot. Because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader. And justice must prevail. We can't change the law, even for your sake. Is this it? Am I not going to be able to save Kay?
Objection!
Ooh, Franny. Franziska? What are you doing here? As I told you before, Miles Edgeworth, where the case leads, I follow. Your dedication is an inspiration to us all. She's an ass kisser, what she is. The veil. But don't go getting the wrong idea, little brother. I'm only here to deliver the truth regarding the suspect. I'm certainly not here to forgive you for abandoning the way of the prosecutor. I understand that. You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share. In his desperation to help Faraday gave me a valuable piece of information. Detective Gumshoe again? Prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth, for the final piece of the puzzle. Rosie Ringer's head wound was the first of the injuries she suffered, not the second. Well, someone say something. Yes, there's no easy way to say this, Franziska, but we already proved that ourselves. You what? Poor Franziska. Just a few minutes ago. Why didn't you say so sooner? You didn't exactly give us a chance. And I suppose you know about the murder weapon, too? No, not yet. Ah, good. Then listen up. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt object being circular surface. Bearing a circular surface. And the wounds to the chest were actually inflicted post-mortem. Circular surface.
Objection!
You're certain of that, I assume? Your sources are above board? Two trusted medical professionals reached the same conclusion independently. You couldn't ask for
Objection!
more. That's certainly good to know. Unfortunately, you're stepping the bounds of what? I am the prosecutor in charge of Interpol's investigation into the underground auction. This murder occurred during that auction. It would be negligent of me not to pursue leads pertaining to related parties. Especially the victim. My. You've really become quite the force to be reckoned with, haven't you, my dear? Then all parties are in agreement. The victim died from a blow to the head. Sadly, the murder weapon itself has yet to be identified. Based on the shape, I might have an idea or two. But guys, I didn't turn up any other weapon during my investigation. And yet, one need only think about the setting and auctioneer's tools. The answer should be obvious. An object with a circular surface used in an auction, we're obviously talking about Bale's hammer specifically. What would an auctioneer have readily at hand? An auctioneer's hammer, of course. But we never found one of those. If the auctioneer was indeed the killer, it does seem a likely candidate for the murder weapon. But without the evidence to support your theory, it remains nothing more than that. Oh, I have just the evidence you need right here. This piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon.
Take that!
Miss Hart told us something very important about the auction after the murder occurred. She said that the very prominent sound of the auctioneer's hammer could no longer be heard. Now, why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because it had just been used in a murder and was covered in the victim's blood. It would need to be disposed of. Isn't that right, Chairman Winner? I'll have our people look into this right away. Oh, you really are like a dog with a bone, aren't you, dear boy? But if you can't dedicate yourself to a cause when you're young, when can you? Very confident when we're fine. Very well. A search for the murder weapon will be conducted. In the meantime, this court is in recess. Oh, to be continued. You got it. All right. After that, there's only one more part of this case. I'm going to take a short little break, and I'll be right back to finish this one up. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all later.